There we go. We are
Thanks, Chief.
officially on.
Okay,
Awesome. Well, good evening, everyone. We are holding our first in-person meeting. May 12th, 2022. Here at the Lowell Police Department with Chief Golner, Marianne, Manzi, Lucia, Frederic, and myself at the time. We do have another member on Zoom. It is being recorded, and we are going to keep it brief and go over some things that we would like to discuss with Chief Golner with regards to Lowell Police Department updates.
All right. So for starters, Marianne had said to me that you guys were interested in the potential chief selection process, and I had just met with the city manager. That's why I thought I was running late. So he at some point he will come and come to the advisory committee meeting. He's in his first 8 days, and he has so much of his staff to still fill, and that's what he's concentrating on right now. He's the filling of the chief of police could be down the road a little. Right now, has to fill his staff and do what he needs to at City Hall. And then as soon as when he gets things in order, he'll come to the meeting, maybe even the next one, and speak to you and answer questions and come to the advisory committee meeting. So and he's happy to do that. He's just, I think, right now overwhelmed with everything and filling his staff as well. So that was good. That was positive.
Still in the midst of transition, so.
I think he only has 2 staff at City Hall right now, so,
there's been a few people have moved on to other positions.
like
So
7 or
there's-
8 key staffers at City Hall, moved on to other positions or went to other cities or towns, so he'll be busy filling those for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll eventually come around to this,
Yes, yeah,
the question in place right now.
absolutely.
Okay.
He said he will come to the committee.
Thank you.
We've been super busy.
I can imagine.
It's
Lots of
budget-
transitions all at the same time.
It's budget time, hiring new police officers.
Yeah. Training some future ones.
So we have a total of 20, I think, 5 that were certified and 15 in the academy. 11 of which are female police officers, which is probably the first time that I can ever remember we had a greater number of female candidates than we do male candidates, which is, and the process is difficult because we get a list from civil service. We can't pick and choose. So to have 11 female officers out of the group is really, it's astounding, and
It's empowering.
it's empowering. And it's good. It's going to be a different look for the academy and for the department to bring in 11 female officers at the same time. And we have 2 certified female officers that came on. One was a Lawrence officer. She's also was on their SWAT team.
Wow.
And another certified officer who came from a campus, was certified, went to campus police, and then she was also the lead aquatic instructor for the YMCA.
Okay.
So she now works for us, so she's gonna help us out with our summer swim program too. So
Great, great.
that'll be nice, and I think she's what they call, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but a water safety instructor, which is a higher level up, where she can work with other lifeguards to train kids in we're gonna run a Learn to Swim program in one of the inner city pools, so that'll be a big help.
Yeah. I can imagine so.
We've been attending community meetings. We've been very busy with community meetings, and the big thing around the city is the reckless dirt bike and motorbike type of riding. So we're working very hard. We created a reckless bike task force with all the area communities. We even have Lawrence, Tewksbury, Drake, Chelmsford, everyone So all the communities were working together. They're meeting, I think, at least every week. And we're going to come out with some sort of program or presentation that we can bring to community meetings to let everyone know, this is what we're doing, this is what you can do. And we could even have that at one of the advisory committee meetings if you want. We could have them show up at once it gets all in place.
Yeah, I think that would be good, because I wasn't aware that it wasn't only in Lowell. Sometimes something will happen in one city, but it's not happening next door.
It's worse.
But it's kind of across the board.
It's everywhere. They're coming from Lawrence, they're going everywhere. In fact, we found out that they're even going from like the Merrimack Valley, and there's something going on in another state. They're traveling,
To the
or
neighborhood.
attending the I don't know what you call them, rallies or get together in another state.
Got it.
So people from Lowell and Lawrence or whatever, they're gonna go down to another state and attend some sort of rally that, I don't even know exactly what you call them. but,
And so is there, and pardon me to interject, but I don't want to lose this thought. Are they doing this without like safety helmets, no gear, anything? So obviously it's a nuisance that they're doing it, but I mean, what about the safety behind it?
So that's a good question. So there's a myriad of differences. Some might have a helmet, some might not have
Got it.
helmets. 90+% are not registered to even be on the road. That's the biggest thing.
That was my.
So they shouldn't even be on the road. So if you had a dirt bike or some sort of whatever, small motorcycle, and it had headlights and brake lights and tail lights and directionals that could possibly be registered for the roadway, but they're not doing that. Some of them may be stolen.
Sure.
So the big thing is that they're not only a hazard to themselves, to the other drivers on the road. Who knows, God forbid, one of them, they get in an accident or they hit someone or someone hits them. It's not a good thing. It's a tragedy waiting to happen.
All the way around.
When you read, every once in a while, you hear horror stories about a road rage incident with some of them attacking someone or someone attacking them, and it's not a good thing. It's happening all over. New York, you see, they
It's a trend, I get it.
yeah, it's a different, years ago it was something else. This is the trend today, and so you have to really take a innovative approach to dealing with them, and that's what we're trying to do, using all our resources, using all the partners, using technology to try to investigate what's going on. And I think the biggest thing for the public would be to say, I hate to say, see something, say something, but if you know that there's 5 dirt bikes being stored at a certain location, or you see them going into a storage facility somewhere, just call, and we're starting we're gonna put it out, right?
It was put out today.
And a special email address, right?
Oh, great.
It's bikertips@lowellma.gov, so it's
You put that on the Lowell Police Department
BIKERTIP.
Facebook page?
What?
Will you put that on the Lowell?
It's on, right now, it was only posted on the Lowell Police Department Facebook page.
Because I
I'm not
share
sure.
those,
Yeah.
what you put on Lowell Police
Yeah.
Department, I share, so at least some people can catch some
Yes.
motion or
Yeah.
information at least.
So it's bikertips@lowellma.gov.
Okay.
Yeah, like anonymous tip.
Yep.
So, that may help us as well. So we know it's a nuisance. We know it's an issue, and it's a problem in every neighborhood from time to time, So we are working on it. They've been diligent. Deputy LeBlanc is coordinating the task force with all the different communities. So hopefully we'll have some results.
And I think it's important to also state, when it's happening, in traffic, in rush hour, it's a safety, obviously it's a safety concern all around. However, officers pursuing them at that time may not be the safest option, which is why.
We don't
I was just gonna ask.
pursue.
I was just going to, that was gonna be my follow-up
There-
question. Can anything be done? Should anything be done?
Yeah, there's no reward for chasing, and no, we don't. We do
Actually,
not-
there's danger in that, right? Because they can kind of like,
And again, God
Sounds like a
forbid,
commercial, but.
that someone gets hurt as a result of an officer chasing, that's why we will not chase them. That's why we have to take more of an investigative approach. You know, maybe there's certain things, maybe there's someone was registered, maybe someone was wearing a certain helmet or certain coat, or any information that they give to us, maybe that's something that we can follow up. Maybe we had a stolen bike with the same color recently, and we're able to follow up on that. Maybe it was a stolen, because some of them are they're stealing them from dealerships, they're stealing them from
Wow.
people's houses, so it's an issue right now, and hopefully we'll be able to make some headway into it.
So they're going to the extreme to actually pursue this trend, like they're stealing from dealerships and everything.
Oh, yeah, it's, and again, it's not just here, we get the alerts all the time that
Okay.
they broke in a Honda in Wyndham, New Hampshire, and took several of them, or wherever it is. It's everywhere.
Good to know that it's not just Lowell.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
So I know Mary Ann had talked to Lucia, and we're gonna talk to your parents. So Channel 5 has been doing a story with women in policing, and started about 10 months ago.
Yeah,
So they
Last year,
interviewed a couple of our newer female officers, and now they're doing a follow-up. And Mary Ann and I had a meeting with them the other day, and we talked to them, we mentioned about Lucia, and we have this young lady who's part of our boxing program, who aspires to be a police officer, and they thought it might be good to add a little piece about her in the story with her parents' permission, and so that could come out in June.
Fabulous.
So we'd be interested to see.
And again, that's good because it actually encourages other young girls to pursue, to just get motivated and pursue that for a career, whether it be, you know, even just going to college and pursuing, you know, anything with regards to law.
Yep.
And then the opportunities that are being offered through the city of Lowell as far as policing, and then going as far as boxing and becoming a Lowell police officer. I think it's encouraging for the young girls to have that access.
Yeah.
And if we look at our, I'm in the process of getting updated numbers, but when I previously looked at our, percentages of Caucasian, persons of color versus, male, female, compared it against the city's demographics. The demographic that we are furthest away from is women in general.
Okay,
Second to that was our Asian population, Southeast Asian population. That was the second that we were furthest away from matching the demographics of the city, which is ultimately what we're trying to do.
And we're going to try to utilize our cadet program, once it gets off the ground, to increase those numbers. So, if it was women, then maybe, 2 or 3, or maybe all 3 of the cadets in our first program may be women. And the good thing about the cadet program, when we started, it's going to be, so someone may decide 6 months down the road, geez, I really don't want to be a police officer, but they're gonna also get experience in all other avenues of the department. They may say, I want to be a dispatcher,
that's my, yeah.
So, and then we can put them in that path. They're already gonna be a city employee so they're gonna be full-time city employees as cadets for up to 2 years. We'll train them, physical training. They're going to learn all the different bureaus within the department, the detention attendants, the traffic bureau, the criminal bureau, maybe even the drug unit, the training, the dispatch. So they're gonna get a little bit, we want them to learn a little bit about everything to see, maybe it's not just being a police officer. They may want to work communications. They may want to work, one of our civilian jobs in the police department. They may say, you know what, I really don't want to be a police officer.
Well, they could even apply that to being like work in the sheriff's department or and like in the house correction. They could always apply that to the resume to make it useful in the
It
future
could be
anywhere.
anything, and what they're gonna do is that, number one, they'll be a, already pass a background check. They'll be a full-time city employee, so they'll be gaining city time towards retirement, no matter what they might do in terms of a retirement fund, if it's a city or like you said, the county with the Middlesex County, so we think it's really gonna be a good thing, and we're going to target, specific populations and specific people to try, 19 and a half to 23-year-old.
19 and a half to
That's
23.
awesome. Now, will you be specific in giving that detailed information that you just emphasized on? Like, when you sit with them, will they be informed that this is actually gonna be beneficial for you, like in the future, for retirement, for like a resume, just for across the
We'll
board?
talk to them about everything.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have up to 2, if they want to stay for the 2 years, they could stay for up to 2 years. And then, so the greatest thing about the cadet program, so that if you had someone that never could score, let's say they couldn't score high enough, or they just never were able to do well on civil service to get hired. This is through special legislation, right? We're gonna be able to hire them from the cadet program as a police officer without ever taking the civil service test.
Well, they have to take the test,
Yeah, they
but they don't have to,
don't have to score high enough.
yes.
because they have
They can
experience.
reach down
No,
because of special legislation.
Because
federal
it-
legislation,
it's gonna allow us to take 1/3,
a third, yep,
a third of the total people that we were going to hire, up to a third.
yep.
So if we were going to hire 9 and all 3 candidates from the cadet program were successful and made it, we could hire all 3 of them as out of the 9 to be police officers. So they could, so they would start as a full-time police officer, but they'd have 2 years seniority towards retirement
That's awesome.
on anyone that's coming from the list, so.
And that makes, I mean, we've lost people in the past because we haven't been able to reach them on the list. And they go to, a different department that they're able to apply, don't have to do under civil service or whatever. but
Good people, inner city people.
Qualified individuals.
Yeah,
So this will give us an opportunity to reflect the city, have the department reflect the city as a whole. And reach individuals we may not have been able to reach before.
Mhm.
it's gonna be a good program.
That's great.
Lastly, a couple things, our youth programs are really moving forward. We have our home for our boxing gym on Central Street, that we're setting up the ring. We partnered with the Sean Collier Foundation, and they basically are outfitting us with, exercise equipment. They purchased the ring for us. Marion was able to obtain grant funding for all the equipment, that bags, and it's gonna be state-of-the-art, brand-new boxing facility for our youth program.
Awesome.
So, and we'll invite everyone from from this group when we have our grand opening.
That'd be nice. Can
Yeah.
you go in there and box too?
We might have a couple of exhibitions,
Yeah.
maybe if someone wants to do a sparring match. And then a big summer student police academy will start this summer, and we'll have probably 200.
Yeah, probably 200, maybe a little over 200 youth, grades 5 through 8.
This is the one that been going on for years.
Yes.
My
Yes,
kids attended that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So
yeah,
we
over
were
20
honored-
years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be a big help. And Sergeant Mike Marshall and, the volunteers, we've been running after school programs, Ultimate Frisbee. We did the I think you saw, we had the basketball camp, and Terrence Mann showed up. And that, I think we had like between 60 and 70 kids for that camp.
Yeah.
We partnered with some city partners on that, the school,
Yeah, we're really
Bobby
bringing
Mitchell and
everyone in.
was the Afro-American Collaborative,
Mhm.
African-American Collaborative, excuse me. So Lowell High, UMass Lowell. It was a nice
That's
camp,
awesome.
a nice time. So we're going to continue all that. We had the horse last week, the pony,
Oh, yeah,
Did you
Manchester,
found someone?
Manchester Police Department has a
pony.
comfort pony.
So weren't you looking for someone that would be
Oh.
interested in working with
I'm
with
still-
horses?
I'm still
with
looking.
Children?
Did you find, I thought you found someone, no?
I did, but they actually couldn't commit to it. I have another a high school intern that might work out, so now I'm gonna need a college intern. I'm waiting to hear back from the schools. So yeah, I'm looking for a college age intern it's 4 weeks, 35 hours a week, working with police, forces and youth,
children, youth.
yeah,
Now,
10 to 14.
I was gonna ask you, I mean, does it have to be high school or college? Can it be some of the, there's some youth programs that have youth that might be interested, but it's kind of educational, but it's not an official school?
So the funding source that we're using is through the
It's-
schools.
it's
and
restricted.
it's their funding source and that's what their high school students or college age students, interns.
Cause there's some young adults in those programs,
Yeah.
and it might
I
work
mean, I can
really
try-
well.
I could ask Carolyn that, at the schools, I could ask the schools that.
That would be
that
good.
question, yeah.
I mean, if you really came down to the point where there was no
Trying to
high school
find, yeah.
student or no college student that could occupy that space, then, let's say that UTEC has a 19 or a 20-year-old that's interested in working with the police forces and works with
Yeah,
kids,
yeah.
you might as well take advantage and
Yeah, we could definitely double check the
know,
restrictions.
then
on
it gives
that.
you that partnership too, again with the
Yeah, we partner,
organization.
we partner with UTEC now, we in fact meet monthly with
Oh, yeah.
UTEC, so. And I know some of our special service officers meet with them on a regular basis, so things have been
That'd be
going.
good.
Yeah.
Now, I have another question. Years ago, I used to sponsor it all the time. I'm not sure if it takes place anymore. There was a program that the Lowell Police Department did with, in collaboration with Lowell General Hospital, and it was a safety rodeo.
Oh, the bike safety.
Bicycle
rodeo.
Bicycle.
safety,
Do you
Yes,
still do that? Because,
yes, but so this will probably be the first year since COVID. we do
oh,
it.
that go back to it. So
That go
like
back
in the
to it.
parking lot at Target with all the,
Yes,
okay.
in September.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
we used to
it's
give
so
out bicycle
important.
helmets.
Helmets, we
Yeah.
actually have helmets this
So,
year to give out
As a
too.
broker, that's what I used to do. I used to get a table and I would have like coloring items to like color and give balloons, but I used to sponsor with bikes and helmets. One year,
Right.
I got a lot of the other agents to collab with me
Yeah.
and we gave like boxes of helmets, but they were funky.
Yeah.
They had like funny things
Oh,
for the
yeah,
kids.
yeah.
So I think it's important because I think a lot of people are like kind of navigating away from the safety of it. And so there's a lot of kids that are injured,
Yeah,
even like their elbows and their knees and all that, like the mopeds, that's why I asked, what about the safety?
yeah.
Right,
Because some of them are young, some of them are just a little, naive, and they're like 16-year-olds on these mopeds
And
and they
they're
think it's cool.
and they're not supposed to be. on
And they're
them.
not supposed to be,
Yeah.
but they think it's cool, and
That's-
so that concerns me a little bit, and I know that we're limited to controlling that, but when they're little.
Yeah.
We definitely have a little bit more power
Yeah.
on that.
I'm
You're
glad
like,
you mentioned
can't go
that.
on your bike
Yeah.
unless you have your helmet, that's the bottom
We're
line.
definitely bringing that back this year. So we
That's
haven't done
awesome.
it since before COVID.
Okay,
So we're definitely bringing that back this year, because we also got some grant funding for some helmets ourselves too. Not a huge amount, but lights for bikes too.
perfect,
So yeah, we're definitely gonna be doing that this year.
awesome, that's awesome, okay. So, is that it on updates for policing?
Yeah,
as
pretty
far as
much.
the community and the youth and the summer and all that good stuff?
It will just,
I do have, and I can transition because we're talking about a bunch of different things, but the police, the schools, Lowell Recreation and UMass Lowell are partnering to do a spring jamboree
Mhm.
for middle school students, grades 5 through 8, and that's gonna happen on June 4th. The rain date is June 5th. We've been posting things on our social media, the school department social media. I did bring a flyer, but it is targeted for the middle school students in Lowell. And we'll do obstacle courses, dodgeball, we'll have food, so
cookout,
fun food games.
Yep, that's it,
Yeah.
that brings them in,
Yeah,
yeah, I know, I seen it, it's posted, I've already shared it with some folks, so. Get a head start, get the news out there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then the other thing I wanted to mention about the cadet program, so that job description went to city council on Tuesday, which was approved. Now I think it goes to public hearing in 2 weeks, which is the process to creating a new job. Then once that's approved, then we should be able to post the job.
Okay. And what's that, can you share some of that job description for that?
It really is, so it's, you have to be 19 and a half to 23 years of age, have a valid Massachusetts license, I'm probably not gonna be able to
City red.
recite all, a city, city resident of Lowell. We do have on there
Have to be a-
continued education preferred, but not mandatory.
required.
Either a US citizen or naturalized US citizen.
Yeah.
Because everything, if you were to be a police officer, you'd have to comply with requirements from Human Resources Division and HID and be able to eventually obtain a firearms license to carry and.
It's 40 hours a week, flexible hours. So individuals will get experience on different shifts, doing different things.
It pays fairly well,
Yep, it's,
over 41,000.
41,600 a year, I believe.
It's good for a young girl to jump into.
Why not?
Yep.
Right?
Yep, exactly,
No heavy lifting.
exactly.
Even better.
It's all about
all about
learning
learning.
the job and training and getting these individuals ready to take the civil service exam, ready to get into the program. But if, like the chief said, if they decide, 6 months in, a year and a half in, that this isn't for them, there are other avenues within the police department that they could pursue. Or within the city, if they decided even, maybe not the police department, maybe I want to work for, City Hall or the
DPW,
recreation or
whatever.
DPW or wherever, yeah. It'd be a great opportunity no matter what.
It's good for their resume and it helps them expand their territories.
Yeah.
Options.
And it's hard to know what you want to do for the rest of your life at that age. I mean, I know I thought I did, but I've, grown and changed. So being able to experience it and go through it and really understand what the job entails, I think will help people make that decision.
Yeah, they may see what a police officer does and say that's not for me.
Their mind.
Yeah.
Awesome. So the next topic is the body worn cameras. Any updates on that?
Yes, so that we are currently working with the law department to finalize that contract. And we're simultaneously, while we're finalizing the contract between Axon and the city of Lowell, which Axon is the vendor for the body worn cameras, we are also working with the law department and the unions on finalizing the policy. And we've had several meetings. We just had one this the beginning of this week. We're gonna have another follow-up meeting next week. And hopefully within the next couple of weeks, finalize that policy.
And then the budget. It's gotta go with the capital budget.
Oh, and then we also, we put in a request to the capital, for the capital budget because we're also gonna be applying for federal grant funding to, we got small state funding to start it, but we really are gonna need more to be able to outfit the entire police department. So we, and the grant that we're applying for requires matching funds. So we did put in a proposal to, for the capital plan to be able to fund that matching request. So that's in process. That's all been submitted to City Hall, and we're actually in the middle of the grant application. Grant applications due May 25th. The thing about the federal budget timelines, though, we'll submit it from May 25th. We will not find out until September.
So the progress is going well.
Yes.
We're moving along.
Yeah.
There's a
moving
lot
along.
of moving parts, but they're all moving, just things don't move as fast as we like sometimes.
Yeah, that kind of happens across the board
Yeah.
with everything in
Yeah.
life, right?
Yep.
So, I just wanted to take a moment before we kind of go into the next steps to say that, a number of us have been attending some of the neighborhood meetings. And I think that I still have two that I have not been able to attend because they fall on days where I have other commitments. But I still want to attend them because I think that the feedback, when I go and I share some of the information that's been taking place here, they seem like either they didn't know and they appreciate knowing about it, right? Or if they did know about it, they just appreciate the updates as to what is taking place. And they're definitely interested in learning more about it and finding out how they could learn more about it. Like, for instance, one of the meetings being held, or if obviously they were recorded, right? They were on Zoom, so they just ask a few questions as to where they can locate some of the videos, and we've been able to share that information. But I wanna just mention that the experiences that I've had, the captains have been very, very informative with providing the the crime report, the updated crime
Yep.
reports for the specific neighborhood that they're obviously giving the reports on. And again, it's just kind of, I wanna just put it out there that a lot of the meetings that I've attended, they've gone well, they're smooth so far, and I believe that the neighbors actually appreciate that we're going out there and that we're able to share a little bit of information with them, and they're actually open to communicating with us and finding out or reaching out to us if they can. Many of them said, can I have your card so that I can reach out to you, just in case if there's something that they feel that they don't want to have to call 911 for, or maybe, continue to press on. They want to see if they have other solutions. So I just wanted to bring that because they're comfortable with the fact that we kind of like not the middlemen, right? But that we could be more of someone on a neutral state, coming in from a neutral standpoint, as far as not the neighborhood meetings, not the policing, but just members of the community ourselves, willing to listen and willing to even take ideas from them to bring to the table so that we can come up with maybe some solutions for them or maybe bring ideas to you guys. So I just want to make sure that I put it out there that as far as my experiences, the ones that I've had, they're going well. And I believe Frederick might have had a good experience as well. And I know that Lucia is attending like all of them for the most part.
I went to the Highlands this week, I didn't see her.
Slipping up. So I just attend the Tuckerville ones and then the Friends of Tyler Park ones. Those are the two ones, like-
Yeah, I think I have Friends of Tyler Park, the downtown, and one other on the schedule so I'm trying to jump around.
Yeah, that's what I try to do because some of them are scheduled, like last week there was, I wanna say it was last week. For instance, South Lowell postponed theirs. And then when they scheduled theirs, it was scheduled for the same day as Pawtucketville. So I can't be in two places, but the good thing is sometimes they'll take it, someone else will participate in one of the other neighborhood meetings.
There's like 3 in 1 week next week or something.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
and if anything falls on a Wednesday, I don't go, because I have a commitment every Wednesday. So that's, so it's kind of like, but I mean, overall, they're good. I'm very, I want to go to the one for the lower Highlands and the Acre. I have not been able to hit those up, but I definitely want to hit those up for sure. But it's good stuff. The one in South Lowell, that captain, man, he is so informative.
Mike Kilmartin.
Martin, yeah.
Yeah, he was like so informative to the people that were there, to the neighbors that were there.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, very, very, very informative.
Nice man.
Yes, indeed. So I just wanted to bring that out there because, we've been doing the best we can by going out there to meet the neighbors and let them know that, the community does exist and that, at first it was all information and then we were just dealing with other things that were going on in the community, considering that our meetings were also being held by Zoom, so we were also going through the same thing as everybody else, with COVID. So I think that we pressed through and we've come a long way and we've, been able to fulfill some strides here. So I just wanted to share that we've been going out there and, putting it out there and letting them know that we're trying to do the best to kind of navigate around this whole thing and work with you guys and work with them.
I just want to jump in a little bit.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you guys have been doing this, but when I went to the meeting, I created a flyer, with like some of the highlights of the things that we've done. How like they can find our page on the police department page and like other information pertaining to when we do have our meetings. If you want, I can send you like
would be nice.
the PDF for that. It's like if you wanted to print them.
And
or
hand it
print
out
one and hand them out,
instead of
yeah.
just kind of go over and over and over everything every
Yeah.
time we go, because we kind of
Plus-
speak more than we hand anything out.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
people like might not have notes to write things down.
Mhm.
So,
That
yeah,
would be great.
I
I'd
can send it to
appreciate
you,
that.
absolutely.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
thank you.
Great.
So I don't think that there's anything else unless Soraya's, I don't know if we can hear her, if she has anything that
Yeah,
she
we
wants
should.
to.
She can unmute.
If you have
Hello, can you
anything
guys
to
hear
say,
me?
sweetie, you can, there
Hi.
she is.
Hi. I don't have anything else to add. I just want to say to Marianne, if you could like share the things that you said that you have that are going on, if you could share with us, so we could also share, that would be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have much going on. Anything else to say? Sorry, I can't be there in person. I'm taking my finals.
Yeah.
But-
Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you. I'll
Thank you.
see you guys in person in the next meeting.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aries.
Thank you. That's it for me. I think we've covered everything that's on the agenda. Unless anyone wants to discuss some of the next steps, I know that we're gonna try and get City Manager Golden in for the next one, and then we can probably discuss some other, things for the agenda before we have our next meeting, but I don't think that we have anything else to
Okay.
discuss. Unless you
I'm in
do.
agreement.
Maybe we can have Terry give a little update on her experience after a month in the academy.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, in June, after a month.
I was gonna say, I wish it's been a month.
No, for the next
But
one.
next- but next
Yeah,
one.
absolutely. Yeah, I
Next
would
one.
definitely be open to doing that for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. One thing, we do not have a meeting in July, right? I know there's one, is it July?
I think we
that-
talked about not having one in July.
Yes, because
Okay.
the holidays.
Yeah.
So what would the date normally?
It's usually the second,
The
it's
second
the
Thursday.
second Thursday.
So you
So
dealing with
if-
vacations.
You
and-
don't,
Well,
yeah,
July,
exactly.
And then the city's just getting ready for the coming
Oh.
back of the folk festival.
Folk festival.
Oh, yeah,
It's- It's gonna be a
exactly.
busy month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for
Yeah.
Folk
And
Festival.
then they run into the, I think it's the 25th anniversary, am I
It
right?
was the 25th last year.
Of the
So
Southeast Asian Water Festival.
technically, last year was the 25th anniversary, but they, obviously weren't able to hold it.
That's,
So, but they'll
so
be
is there a
back,
lot of coming
a
back,
lot of coming back.
so we're
yeah.
just not gonna be able to focus on.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be a lot. I think it's gonna be a busy summer with activities. And, everyone, wanting to kind of get things back in person and, be able to do our bike rodeo, being able to do this, jamboree
Jamboree.
for the middle school students. We'll be continuing our boxing program in our new facility. So yeah, it'll be a lot of good positive things going on in the city this summer, so it'll be good.
We'll have a lot to talk about in August.
Yeah,
Okay, I was just gonna say, so to clarify, it would just be July that we would not be meeting as of right now.
I think so, yeah,
Yeah, unless there's something that comes up in August.
yeah.
But, barring anything unforeseen,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds great. So the next meeting will be, I think, on the 9th, June
Yep,
9th.
June 9th. In person,
In person.
In person.
Yeah, as long
That's-
as there's not another COVID outbreak, right?
Yes.
Not the worries.
Yeah,
Seriously.
that's right, exactly.
Yeah, actually, can I just ask a couple of questions?
sure.
So, sorry, just lost my voice. Okay, so, currently, do you know about how many police officers you have? Like serving in the Lowell Police Department?
We're supposed to have 249,
200, well, we're budgeted at 250
50, yeah.
So right now, 200.
don't-
budgeted, so sorry.
sorry.
So
We
we're,
don't have that many.
we're budgeted at 250. We are at 200,
20 something.
yeah,
So we don't officially count the people in the academy or people until they become certified police officers. So we can't count them yet. So I think our numbers are like in the 220s,
high 220s or maybe even,
yeah.
Right,
229 or somewhere around there.
Nice. And then another question, the victim and witnesses, reporting crimes and understanding your rights, it was kind of like a meeting on Thursday, April 28th that you attended.
yes.
Can you just summarize like what you talked about in the meeting or like maybe some of the.
The victim and witness, the meeting with the Portuguese community.
Oh,
And we had, the DA was there, the chief, so it was the police, the DA's office, and, you know, talking about, victims and witnesses' rights. And
Reporting crimes, the importance of reporting crime, and that when you're a victim of a crime, we do not ask your immigration status. We wanted everyone to realize that. Don't be afraid to call the police if you're a victim of a crime. We're not coming to ask you, you know, if you're a United States citizen. Everyone is treated as a victim, and especially with, you know, domestic violence related crimes, that do not be afraid to call, and we will, you know, we will be there to help you. And there's services in place to help you as well.
it was with the Brazilian community, I apologize.
And
They
then-
speak.
They speak Portuguese.
It was at the Portuguese club.
And it was
You
at
know,
the
that's-
Portuguese
I'm
club,
so glad she asked that question, because it's one of the reasons why I wanted to partake in a lot of what's going on with regards to the Citizen Advisory Committee and safety, because one of my biggest things is domestic violence, right? And women feeling threatened in any situation, and any individual by all means, right? Because that not only women feel like they're threatened, right? Men can be threatened as well, right? So, but the immigration status, that was something really, really big for me. And it's been like that for a number of years, just because of some other incidents. And for anyone to feel like they can't dial 911 or call a police officer or a neighbor to help them by calling the police officer, because they feel they're gonna be interrogated for whether or not being interrogated for their immigration status, and then overlook the fact that they're in a violent situation. That was something that really concerned me, because that's what was being said, is that they would be arrested and then deported.
Yeah.
And that, I'm glad you brought that up and you clarified that, because that's important for the community to
And the
know.
district attorney was a big proponent of, you know, not allowing Homeland Security in the, you know, the courthouses, or you know, it all depended on what the specific nature of the crime, but she's 100% on board, District Attorney Ryan, and the meeting went really well.
Yeah.
Actually, it went like well beyond, it was probably a
Yes.
couple hours long,
It was a
so
few hours, yeah,
That's
2 hours,
good,
yeah.
That's good.
fairly
Yeah.
well attended. There were a lot of questions,
A lot
so
of questions, yeah.
went well.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, the biggest message to get across to everyone is that the police department is here, you know, for the community. No matter where you're from or what your immigration status is. It's, you know, if you're a victim of a crime, if you witnessed a crime, we encourage everyone to call the police.
And even call anonymously.
Yeah.
You know, if people are that afraid, we can call anonymous. You know, you don't have to give your info, and if you know, the neighbors are in a domestic or argument or whatever, just call and give an address, and you know, we'll be there.
That's important to know. Thank you for sharing that, because I know that I had a different understanding at one point. And it's concerning, because I mean, they are human beings, and their safety is being threatened no matter what. So I think that they deserve protection, right?
Everyone.
Yep.
Yeah, so I appreciate that being clarified. Yeah.
So one more thing, you know how you went to the FBI National Academy in December? Do you want to tell us a little bit about your experience there?
So it actually started October 3rd. It was 11 weeks. So normally, so this was the first class post-COVID, because it had been put off. It was actually getting older and older, because there's a lot of physical component to it. You have to run every day, and I was like, if it keeps getting postponed, I'm not gonna keep myself, I'm gonna break down, right? Because there were a lot of strict physical requirements that you had to do, and there was, you know, at the end, there was a, they call it the Yellow Brick Road, and it's like a 6.2 mile run through the woods, up hills, through obstacles at the Marine Corps base in Quantico, Virginia. So that was, you know, they build you up to that as well. But there's a few different parts to it. So post-COVID and now, a full class is probably 250 executive leaders from all across the country and the world. I think 10% are from from foreign countries. There were only two in mind because it was COVID. We had one gentleman who we had here, he came to visit me last week from the United Arab Emirates, and he was a lieutenant colonel with their national police force, or he is, and he's attached to the US Embassy in Washington. And then we had this woman who was one of the commanders from Spain. So, and then there's police, men, women from all over the United States, and there's a lot of leadership. It's a lot about connections too, so that now, you know, you have and meet people from California, from, you know, states all over the country that you're able to pick up and, you know, get some information to obtain, you know, new information about policies and procedures, what people are doing in other parts of the country and parts of the world. So there's that part of it. You're in class every day. Our classes were an hour and a half to 2 hours long. They're all different types of leadership classes, behavioral classes for on understanding people's behavior. There's law enforcement classes. So it was pretty intense. I hadn't been in school. I was out of college in 1985. So to try to start writing typing 6-page reports, and I was calling our MIS guys and the girls upstairs, and I'm typing reports and the computer's shutting down, and so it was really interesting, challenging. And the other thing is, I was very lucky because of the COVID restrictions and the numbers, we had 135. Normally, they put either 4 men or 4 women in the same room. They share the same restroom for the 4 people, and we had our own rooms. So, so I was very lucky. So it was 11 weeks, and it was, I met a lot of interesting people, made some good connections, and hopefully be able to bring all those experiences back to the city of Lowell. And 1% of law enforcement leaders in the world are able to attend. And at the time, there were only 2 from New England that got into this class. The chief of Manchester as well. And now I don't even think they're going to take chiefs anymore, because they want to try to encourage, like, not first line supervision, but other leaders who are going to spend more time in the organizations and encourage them to go through the academy. And they also, I think there's one other change. There's a minimum of 60 college credits for in order to get in as well. So, because the one thing about this, it's sponsored by the University of Virginia. That's why the academic standards are very strict. So if you didn't, let's say you were going to go for your master's degree, you can come out of there with 5, and master's usually 10 classes. You can come out of there with 5 full classes completed for your master's degree from the University of Virginia, or 5 classes. You could take undergraduate classes and have 5 classes towards your bachelor's degree or your associate's degree. So that's why the academic standards and the reporting and is a little bit difficult, but I learned to get through it.
That's certainly very impressive to be a part of the 1% of people who are invited.
It was really nice. I have to thank the head of the FBI for New England for helping push me in there, and I kept telling him I'm getting older. So no, it was really, it was a great experience. And you had a couple of, like cultural tours. They went to New York, they went to Gettysburg, Washington, to the police memorial. So it was really, there was a lot of different aspects to the academy. So the food was there.
It's not like home food. So like anything that you learned there, is that so that you can apply it here with the Lowell Police Department? So you can bring it back home, sort of.
That's the hope, is to bring those leadership experiences. And a lot of it comes from a lot of group exercises in there where you're working with, like the gentleman I said from the UAE. I'm in a group project with him, and we're talking total different experiences, policing in Lowell and policing in the UAE. And, I think we went for lunch, and they're driving around in Lamborghinis and Mercedes, right, for police cars. And some of them they have for dignitaries, and, just everything about their enforcement. And how people down south do things different than we do, so you get to learn a lot of different, how people do things differently, even in this country, so. It was
Across the different states, they do everything.
Oh,
they do
yeah,
things
totally,
differently from
totally different,
Massachusetts and Lowell.
Yeah.
Right?
especially California.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Would you say that you've taken like any of those experiences that they've had with you and like would potentially enforce them here?
So there's a lot of information that you know, you look back and you think about when if you run into a situation in the city or in our planning, in our development, there's a lot of information that, things that you just never knew, that you never thought of in terms of even, let's say, terrorism threats was one of the big things, and looking at your city and trying to, they had us write a paper on what you thought were your, the biggest threats in your community, and things that you'd never even think of, that are, and we have a lot of, you know, look at the universities, and we have railways, and we have a reservoir, and so many things that you never think of, but that was an interesting class. We had a behavioral science class that when they investigated the, you know, John Wayne Gacy and the murders, and they had paintings and his torture chambers and other information, so everything was interesting. Taking back certain management styles and tips from other people that, you know, you just store and, you know, hopefully at some point you'll be able to utilize a lot of reference material, so. And then, you know, there's a conference each year that everyone can get back together, or this, you know, they even have a chat line with people keeping in touch, and I'm not a big social media, so, but it was good,
Awesome. Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Absolutely.
Do you have any questions?
Any other questions?
I ran out.
She came prepared with the
Yeah.
printout.
My
I
mom
love
printed
it.
it for me. so
Yes.
She does half the work of my life. I just follow the instructions.
Well, that's good mentorship.
Yes, exactly.
That's good mentorship. So other than that, I think we have pretty much covered everything that was on our agenda, in addition to some other awesome conversation, right? Very informative. So if there's nothing else, I would say that this meeting is adjourned.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck tomorrow. You gotta run.
Thank
tomorrow.
you.
Yes, Friday's running day.
Thank you, Zari.
Bye,
Bye.
honey.
Bye, thank you.
How many miles are you
Thank
running?
you.
So we just had our first running day on Wednesday, and I think we did about 3 to start off. Maybe we'll do like 3.5 or 4 tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see what they have planned.
My son comes